Hi, and thank you so much for joining me today. And today is another in the Around the World in 30 Days series, a YouTube hop that I'm doing with lots of my friends. If you look in the description box below, you'll find links to their videos, so do go along and see what else they've been working on. Today I'm going to be working with some photos from our trip to New York. That was back in 2015, and I'm using one of Amelia Creates' new cut files that says Sunshine Fun Time. You will have seen the 49er Market paper that I pulled out to use with this cut file, and I decided that I wanted to use my Distress Oxides to colour the cut file, yellow at the top using the fossilised amber colour, and then blue at the bottom using Blueprint Sketch, because we've got blue at the bottom of the photo, and obviously the sun has to be yellow. So I'll leave you to just watch me doing that, and you'll see I'm keeping the more intense colour at the bottom of the sun rays, and then again with the blue, I'm keeping the more intense blue at the bottom of the word fun time, and intense yellow again at the top of the word sunshine. And it's while I'm doing this blending that I wonder how it would look just on a plain white background, which is it tends to be my go-to. So I just try it on this paper first of all before putting it on the paper I originally had planned for this. And you'll quickly see when I put it on there, it kind of blends into the background. I'm not happy with it. I love the way it stands out on the white, so I'm definitely going with the white. I really struggle to use pattern papers for my background. Is anybody else like that? I try, but more often than not I end up reverting back to my safety net white. So I know that this is going to be the main bulk of the layout, so I'm just going to stick this down with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, just dotting glue all the way over the cut file to make sure it's stuck down well. And I've not found a particularly easy way to do this. I've just found that plonking it down and then very quickly moving it into position is the way to go. So if you've got any tips for getting it down square first time without having to manipulate and manoeuvre it, that would be great. So coming in with my photos now, and you'll see I've pulled out a load of the bits from the 49er Market ephemera and laser cut and chipboard elements, and I'm just going to create a photo mat out of strips underneath my photos. So first of all, I want to mat these onto tissue paper just to create a border around the edge of them, and then I'll start playing with those bits. And it's at this point I realise that I really need to start committing. So I'll start with that lace piece at the bottom because I know I want to use that. That's a laser cut piece from the laser cut elements from Spectrum Sherbet. So just tearing it down to size, and then I'm going to go in with the stitched washi tape to anchor that down. Because James is wearing black and there's a lot of black in the trees in the background from the shading, I wanted to add a little bit of black to the layout, but mainly keeping it the blues and yellows. And the great thing about using the washi is that you can reposition if you're not absolutely happy with where you've got things. And you'll see all these strips are tiny little scraps that I've kept from previous layouts. I'm very frugal, can't throw anything away, and do try and use them as well. So let that be a lesson. Your ranges can go on forever and ever if you keep everything. So this was the branding strip from the bottom of that paper that I was originally going to use and discarded as the background paper. So using that, and that torn strip at the bottom was one that I'd used to punch a circle out of on a previous layout. So just a tiny scrap, and this just tiny weeny scraps. I realised that that's a little bit too high up, so just positioning it a bit further down the layout. Just checking that this is roughly centralised, and then I'll come in with it with the glue and stick things down. And you'll have seen how I tore the strips in half there, so that I had a bigger piece showing on either side of the photos. So again, stretching your stash, there's no point in having the paper behind the photos if it means you're going to have to cut another piece, and just tear it in half and poke it under either side of the photo like that, and it still looks like a complete piece. And sticking those photos together, and now coming in with some more black washi tape. This again is from the stitched collection from 49er Market, just to bring in a little bit more of that black there. I'm checking that I'm happy with the positioning. I'm just pulling out the tissue paper it got caught underneath, and I glued the two photos together. So I'll continue building up those layers on the left and right hand side. Now I'll bring in the rub-ons to see if there's anything on there, but nothing's striking me, so I leave those to one side and come back in with some more paper strips. Oh yes, first of all I wanted to try and build an embellishment cluster, so just going through and seeing what I've got and having a little play. And I do like all these pieces, but I realised that I want the photos to be the focal point there, and if I had too much around them they're just going to get lost. They're very small photos anyway. We didn't want to disturb the children when they were playing in that water park by them seeing us taking pictures, so we had to do it surreptitiously from the bench that we were sitting on. They had an absolute whale of a time. It was the day that we were due to fly home. Our flight wasn't till the evening, so we went to Central Park and found this water park, and it was August, so it was absolutely boiling hot. And our last order to them was, do not get wet because you're travelling home in those clothes. And of course, what 8-year-old can resist water? So they got absolutely drenched, and these were pictures of them just standing under they didn't just run through to get a sprinkling, they stood under the water to get thoroughly drenched. So then we spent an hour sitting on the park bench trying to get them to dry off. So going in with my 25mm foam pads from Sticks 2, so that the photos are raised. And it's so much easier working with them as a block like that rather than trying to work the two individually. And then this title just says Little Adventure, and I think that goes perfectly and brings in the green from the trees there. I didn't want too much green because I love blue and yellow, lemon and blue, but that just finished it off really nicely. And then I was trying to work out where to add my journaling, and I thought I'd go around the sun rays, so I'm just adding a bit of journaling about exactly what I've just told you, what they did, getting all wet on the day that we were due to travel home. And as I was writing that journaling, I knew there was something missing from the layout. Now I could have cut a border off and matted it onto a different piece of 12 by 12 to bring some pattern around the edge as a border, but I thought actually I'll just doodle a quick border, and it's something that I quite often do just to bring the layout together, really, to draw your eye into the centre of the page and to fill in that white space that you've got around the edge. And then once I've done that, I'll come in with some ink splatters using the blue and yellow that I'd used before. So starting with the yellow, and I just want to target it around the yellow part at the top of the layout. Didn't have quite enough water the first time, so just adding a bit more. And nice chunky drops all the way around here. And then once that's done, I'll clean up the pack paper and add some blue at the bottom. And once that blue's added, that's it. So thank you so much for joining me. Do check the description box and go and have a look at some of my friends' layouts that they've been creating, and share the love, give some likes and subscribe if you like their channels. And I'd love it if you'd subscribe to mine if you like what you see here. I tend to upload on a Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Sometimes there are bonus videos as well, but they're my they seem to be my days for uploading. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time. Bye.